Hello and welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews.
I've been waiting a long time for this.
And I'm Gary. And today we're going to review and discuss Resident Evil, the final chapter, which came out in 2016, written and directed by Paul W.S. Anderson. Ian, why don't you give us the synopsis for Resident Evil, the final chapter?
Well, the story starts with Alice waking up in Washington after being betrayed by Wesker at the end of the last movie. She comes across the Red Queen, who tells Alice that in 48 hours the last human settlements around the world will be destroyed and the human race will be made extinct. But Umbrella have an antivirus in the hive underneath Raccoon City, and if Alice can get there within that allotted time, she can release the antivirus and save the world.
So, the very, very beginning of this film is in direct contrast with the previous films. Right from the get-go, we're explained that Dr. Marcus created the T-virus to help with his daughter who has a disease which is causing her to age rapidly.
Yes.
But I'm like, no, wait. In Resident Evil Apocalypse, Dr. Ashford created the T-virus in order to help his daughter who was going to die.
Because she had a bone degenerative disease, much like her father.
So, which is it? Well, okay, so first problem is right there.
Yep.
Then Alice goes on to explain that the government dropped the bomb on Raccoon City to wipe out the virus. Wait, I'm pretty sure it was Umbrella that did it,
Yep.
and then they covered it up by saying it was a nuclear reactor meltdown.
Yep. That was Resident Evil Apocalypse.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right, so continuity, put that aside.
Yeah.
We've got something exciting to look forward to, at least, because if anything came out of Retribution, you know, it was the big build-up for that whole film to the climactic battle where Wesker turned out to be a good guy, and we have Leon and Jill and Ada and Alice and Wesker in the White House, and they're overrun with flying creatures and zombies at the gates.
Don't forget Alice's clone daughter.
Oh yeah, she rescued her clone daughter as well. And this film starts after the aftermath.
Yeah.
Oh, are you fucking kidding me? I'm fucking speechless. Alice just emerges out of a crater, out of a hole.
Yeah.
Just like, whoa.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here.
Let's take a bit of a walk. I was waiting for this. I'd seen the final chapter when it was released on DVD. Obviously, the wife's a big fan of Resident Evil. And just before Gary said, hey, we're doing the Resident Evil series, the last movie came out, I was like, oh, I've got to watch it. And I sat down and I was just like, hang on a minute. I'm pretty sure there was a bunch of survivors at the end of the last movie in the whole battle sequence. And yeah, this movie just wipes its hands of all that. It just goes, ha, magic, they're all gone.
But the whole purpose of Resident Evil Retribution was to get all these characters together in Washington to save mankind, to fight the Red Queen's army.
Yeah. No.
So, within 5 minutes of this film, it shat on the previous film, and then it shat on all of the films building up to this one, and it's not done taking a shit yet.
My name is Alice, and this is my story. The end of my story.
We'd already said throughout the series that, you know, these movies are Alice's movies. But this movie, if you hadn't caught up to that, basically from the start goes, no, this is Alice's series. Nobody else's. None of the characters from Resident Evil. None of that build-up. We've got whole Dr. Marcus doing his thing to save his daughter, and then he's killed off by Dr. Isaacs because Marcus doesn't want the T-virus anymore because it's making zombies in some cable car in South America. But they cover that up. And so Isaacs, you know, takes over the whole company after killing his partner and has the daughter sealed away somewhere. Guess who the daughter turns out to be? Spoilers, not yet. And then Alice climbs out of her fucking hole. And it's... I literally counted this. I don't think she actually says anything for at least 10 to 15 minutes. there's this whole action sequence where she's chased by this mutant creature, this flying mutant creature, and she drives a Humvee into it with a bunch of Claymore mines in it and blows it up. And I'm like,
that's fucking ridiculous!
Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous!
I would have rather have had a flashback of the last battle than watch this fucking sequence. What's even worse, and it took me a second watch of this movie to realise this, that she can hear a fax machine 2 levels up and halfway down the street. She hears this noise. Oh, what's that? Oh, I best go follow it. All the way along the street, down 2 flights of stairs, into a sealed basement to find an old fax machine saying, "Hello, Alice." And it's the Red Queen.
The Red Queen that she was trying to destroy, that was trying to kill her in the last film, is now just sending Alice a fax.
Yeah, and telling Alice, hey, you've got 48 hours to get to the hive in Raccoon City, the destroyed.
What happens in 48 hours?
Oh, if you don't get there, all of the human settlements around the world will be wiped out.
My satellites show there are 4,472 humans remaining on the surface of the Earth. They will cease to exist in under 48 hours.
So there's more survivors?
How?
How
does the Red Queen know that the last of humanity will fall in exactly 48 hours? It's such an arbitrary sort of forced timer, which is then impacted on the entire film, where Alice keeps checking the clock and going, oh shit, I've now only got 12 hours to save everyone on the planet. Yet we don't see everyone on the planet. We don't see any of those other outposts that are in peril or how they're being affected. It just seems like the film is telling you that in 48 hours, anyone who's still alive will just miraculously not be.
And don't forget, she points out to Alice that Umbrella have an antivirus that can destroy all of the T-virus around the world.
Yeah, they had the antivirus in the first film, which didn't work.
Yeah, and the second film, don't forget Angela was carrying around that big fucking bag of antivirus,
but that had to be injected. But now this antivirus can go airborne, and Umbrella had it the whole time.
Yeah.
So, and it was at the hive.
So that whole point don't forget, in Resident Evil Extinction, where Isaacs, the other Isaacs, the other one that turned into a tyrant, he was looking for Alice so that he could use her blood to make an antivirus. Mind blown. Like, whoa. What the fuck was Paul W.S. Anderson on when he was writing this shit?
It amazes me. It just amazes me how little he has paid attention to his own scripts. It boggles my mind. It hurts my mind. It hurts my brain so much that trying to think constructively about how this film was put together has given me a serious migraine. I am hurting just thinking about this film. I mean, you talk about the continuity and the plot holes are baffling, but even the continuity within this film is broken, because this film is edited in such a way that not a single shot lasts more than a second. There are brief moments where you can relax and go, oh, that was a 5-second shot, and then it's split second editing.
Yeah.
And it's throughout the entire film, and this is the longest Resident Evil film in the entire series. So subjecting yourself to all the flashing lights, the quick edits, and fight sequences where you can't tell what's going on because the whole thing was shot with a handheld camera, which Paul W.S. Anderson held himself. And so, what was he on a trampoline when he was shooting the film? Why did he have to be in everyone's faces? You cannot see the action. You cannot tell what's going on. And the film will give you a seizure if you watch it in a dark atmosphere.
Like I said, I've seen this film twice. Twice is enough, because the second time when I was writing notes for it, I was getting a migraine just watching the action sequence going off all over the place. You know, it was like chop, 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 chain, 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 chop, 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 chain, chain, chain. I was like, whoa, whoa, what the fuck? Luckily, I don't suffer from epilepsy. Epilepsy warning. If you suffer from epilepsy, do not watch anything past in this review, because if we cut to any of those sequences, I cannot be held responsible that you may end up in hospital. They are so bad. Like that sequence where you said, where she crashes the car. Alice gets out the car, the camera's in her face, and she goes, oh, my leg, oh, fuck. Oh, and you're like, oh shit, has she broken a bone? Has she done something bad? Nah, nothing, because she walks it off like 2 seconds later.
And this is where the film attempts to remind you that this is a horror movie, right?
Is it? Has it been a horror series?
Well, believe it or not, this is a horrible bit of fact trivia for you.
Yeah.
As the Resident Evil franchise is now the most successful financially horror movie franchise of all time.
Who made that fucking call?
Well, the fact that it has made over $1 billion, which is more than any other horror franchise that's ever existed. Resident Evil was number 1. Well done, everybody. And like I said, the film is trying to remind you that it's a horror movie. And how can you tell? Because you have some eerie music playing that just fades out. And then jump scare! That's this film's only level of horror, is that it has jump scares. Again, and again, and again. And they're all the same. Music fades out. Zombie jumps out, music fades out. Umbrella Soldier comes in, music fades out. Isaac's back on your face. And it does this again, and again, and again.
It's so
and
fucking
it's irritating as shit.
It's like after she crashes that car, she's walking along and there's this brand new red fucking good looking bike just there in the middle of the road. And you're like, well, this is definitely a trap. But Alice, you know, being Alice, just walks over there. The soldiers all jump out. And you're like, oh, well, maybe they're going to kill her.
How long were they waiting there for?
Exactly! So
Who were they waiting for?
I can gather that somebody, somewhere, maybe Wesker was like, Alice will be coming to the Raccoon City hive.
But he left her for dead in Washington.
Yeah. So let's hold this position there, because this is literally like the only road getting to Raccoon City. So these 6 or 7 guards have just been sat there. And it's so shit. I remember in the last review, I hated all the fact that you just had these nameless helmeted fucking umbrella soldiers. What have we got? We've got nameless helmeted umbrella soldiers just there. And when they've got her tied up in a rope, the guy just keeps whacking her with the stick. And she's like, ha 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 ha, is that all you got? Now let's watch this fucking... Oh, sorry, it's too much. Just too much. Oh.
Is that all you got?
You know, I want to appreciate the stunt work that some of the actors put themselves through in this film.
Yeah.
But you can't really see it. And the thing that upset me is that a female stunt double in one of the motorcycle sequences had an accident and had to have her arm amputated.
Yes.
As a result.
Yeah.
A crew member, when they were filming scenes in South Africa, got crushed by a Humvee that wasn't safely secured and subsequently died in hospital.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, people have died and suffered amputations in order to deliver this film.
And it sucks. Getting past that, though, Alice is captured by Isaacs and is taken aboard his little metallic tank thing.
But now Isaacs is some sort of religious zealot with lots of crosses hanging around, and he's got a bunch of human prisoners kept in the lower compartment.
Well, we are later told that Isaacs was always religious. Not that we ever got that in Resident Evil 2 or 3, and I think that's it. We didn't get any of that from the other Isaacs. But this Isaacs, yes, is religious, and he has been capturing survivors and killing Alice. Because he opens up a tray and says, I've been taking out your sisters. And there's a bunch of decapitated heads in there. But the effects and the darkness was so bad, I couldn't tell if
it was supposed to be Alice clones
or not.
Right.
But he's there and he starts telling her that, obviously that this is the way the world is. And we've got to cast her out. Cast her out.
Cast her out. Cast her out. Cast her out.
Cast her out. And so they throw her out the back of the tank, and there's a massive fucking horde of zombies following this tank. There's 2 tanks actually. So these tanks have been driving around for 3 movies since the end of Raccoon City. These tanks have just been driving around gathering survivors and zombies for what purpose? Really, what was the fucking purpose? Because the purpose of Alice is to go to the hive to find the antivirus. But why wasn't this hive made the focal point for the other movies? Why are we only going back there now in the 6th film? I thought it would have all been destroyed.
In an interview with Paul Anderson, he literally says that it was always his idea to return back to the hive. But it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to do that. And so Isaac doesn't kill Alice at this point because she has information that he wants to know what information she has.
Yeah.
So it's his way of torturing her by putting her outside.
But Alice is so super badass.
But then something occurs at the front which distracts the guards, and when they turn around, she's gone. Where is she? Oh, there she is.
Yeah.
She kicks the ass of everyone.
Yeah.
And then we get an extended fight sequence with Alice and Isaac on the top of this vehicle, which is lifted again directly from Resident Evil 4, where you have the fight with the guy with the knife.
Yeah. And Isaacs is such a badass, he can keep up with Alice. I thought Alice was superhuman.
And we also find out in this film that Dr. Isaacs is the head of Umbrella Corporation.
Yeah.
But in Resident Evil
3? Extinction.
In Resident Evil Extinction, Isaacs works for Wesker, and Wesker is the chairman of Umbrella.
Yeah.
But I guess since, Iain Glen has become so popular on Game of Thrones, and he's one of my favourite characters in that show, they just went, well, we can't have this name actor be, small part now, so let's make him the... It's like, If you'd explained it in the story somehow, that Wesker maybe had been demoted because of his inability to handle the situation, maybe it would have made sense.
Yeah.
But
No.
it doesn't. All Wesker does in this film is converse with the Red Queen, who seems to be betraying him.
Yeah, because Wesker's working in the hive in Raccoon City. So let's just follow that. So he left Alice and everybody in Washington after betraying them and headed to Raccoon City and took over the hive. For what purpose, Wesker? Seriously, you literally do nothing in there apart from tell the Red Queen that you are going to manually take over the security and do a really bad job of that anyway. But barring all that, I love the fact that in this movie, as we said, Alice has 48 hours, and Paul W.S. Anderson's like, well, I can't make a 48-hour long movie, so I need to cut the time down really, really quickly. So by the time Alice actually gets to Raccoon City, she's got, 3 hours, maybe more, before everything's killed off. And she's escaped from Isaacs at this point, got a bike, being chased away by miniguns and rockets, but managed to survive all that. And then when she gets to Raccoon City, she's distracted by this blinking light on top of this massive, huge tower. This fucking great, big, huge tower that, if you go back and watch Resident Evil Apocalypse, like I've had to check, is not there. And obviously the town is being nuked and is looking all apocalyptic, but she gets taken out by a massive, huge swinging piece of wood, which I think is that place where the stunt woman may have got injured, because it looks pretty fucking harsh. Alice wakes up in this little tower and realizes that there's a bunch of survivors here. What? Why are there people in Raccoon City?
This is just a remake now of Resident Evil Afterlife, where Alice meets a bunch of survivors and oh, there's Claire.
Yeah. Hi, Claire. How you doing? How's Chris?
Who?
Yeah. No word. So that's Ada, Leon, Jill, Chris, and Becky, all written out of the series.
At least we can confirm that Barry was shot and killed.
Yeah. And Luther was fucking punched in the heart.
Yeah.
But Chris, no. Claire's explanation is...
Umbrella captured me at the Arcadia. We were headed somewhere called the Hive. Got loose, killed the pilot, crashed here. Doc and the others pulled me from the crash. I owe them my life.
And I fucking hate the fact that you're supposed to just imagine that there are like 200 odd fucking survivors in this tower because you see nobody apart from maybe the 8 main characters that are going to be fucking off with Alice later on, and maybe a couple of background characters for the big action sequence which is coming up, which is even fucking worse because Alice explains to them that Isaacs is coming with a horde of zombies behind him, and he's got a tank and missiles and cannons, and he can fucking level this place. So they're all like, what should we do? What should we do? And Alice goes, we're going to kill them all.
What are we gonna do?
We're gonna kill every last one of them.
How are you going to do that?
And you've got like 20 minutes to prepare.
Yeah. So they literally A-team this fucking tower, this crane thing into a trebuchet. Do you like how I know that word? Trebuchet. Or catapult for you common people. And she starts writing down markers on the floor so that obviously the catapults are going to hit them as they come closer. But they've got a fucking surplus amount of fuel. I mean, I could understand the plot holes. I can take...
I'm surprised they're all still alive.
Yeah.
And that radiation, the fallout from the nuclear blast, hasn't just radiated the entire area anyway.
Yeah. I can take plot holes in the story. I can understand losing characters. I can even partially get through really, really badly edited action sequences. But with no explanation about why these people have this massive amount of fuel, enough to make waterfalls of fire and catapults of flaming barrels into this million-man horde of zombies. I'm like,
It is absolutely stupid. And it's not even impressive to look at.
what did you think of that part where he made that woman run to the gate and Alice's great idea was to open the gate?
I mean, Alice doesn't even care about what happened to her clone daughter in the last film. And yet she shows a wealth of emotion for this one random woman who's clearly bait to get the survivors to open the gates.
Yeah.
To let her in.
Open the gate! Open the gate! She's dead. Close the gate! Close the gate! Oh, it hurts.
Claire, Doc, get out there. Bring her in.
Damn you.
Close the gate now.
I fucking hated the fact that Alice gets to Raccoon City and she stood there at the edge of the hole, and it's a massive fucking hole, and you get this big zoom out. And then literally, I don't know, about 20 minutes later, when she and the group are heading down to the hive, they get to the edge of a crater and it zooms out and there's a big fucking hole there. And I'm like, how many ledges are in this hole? You know, seriously. I mean, where are you going, Alice? They defend the tower badly, and this amazed me. I mean, I can probably explain why she could keep up with Isaacs in about 5 more minutes when we get to that point. But How the fuck did that martial artist security guard beat the shit out of Alice? She's supposed to be superhuman, endued with the fucking T-virus to make her bigger, stronger, faster, and all this other shit. But this security guy whoops her fucking ass. And then after she fucking blasts him with a 3-barreled shotgun, he gets back up. I know he's wearing body armor. He gets back up. And they just go, let's tie him to the back like he's done to all these other people. And we'll drive off in the tank that we've just stolen. And he can lure off all the zombies. All the zombies that are still around. I'm like, what the fuck? It's even worse. I just remembered this bit. After she ziplined down from the tower. And the truck is in the perfect position because she'd hid some gasoline canisters nearby. That she just literally pours it into the filters. And Isaac's like, close all the filters. And then she drops a flare in and the whole place goes... I was like, that's a lot of fucking fuel you put in there. Enough to barbecue a lot of people, apart from the two main people that you got to keep carrying on the story. So, Alice and Claire and Doc and Razor and Abigail and Christian. Remember all these names. I remember all of these names.
They had names?
They had names. I looked it up. I had to name them because it's just so funny what happens next. All these people decide to head to the hive. I mean, Alice has to go because she wants to save the human race. Claire wants to go because, well, she knows that the best way to stay alive is to be close to Alice. And all these other people have to go because, well, we need to kill people off to keep Alice alive.
Well, a bunch of no-names get killed off by the Cerberus dogs.
Oh, such a bad sequence.
Yay, it's trying to reenact the opening sequence to the first Resident Evil game, where they go running into the mansion.
Yeah, it's such a bad fucking sequence because... Wait. It's such a bad sequence because literally they're walking along. Claire's got point. Claire is off in the distance on point. And Alice just stops. And they're like, what's up? And she's like, something's hunting us. And he's like... How do you know? Because this is what I do.
What is it?
Something's stalking us.
You sure?
This is what I do.
I'm like, what? You just know? If someone's hunting you, why are you fucking standing still? Oh, this has been my whole life, running and killing. So what does Alice do to get away from these Cerberus? Runs. They just run. I know there's a lot of dogs. I get it. There's a lot of dogs. But what's even worse is that, like I said, they've had the ledge where Alice stopped and looked over. And then they had that second ledge that she stood there with all the crew. And then they have a third fucking ledge to jump off into a bunch of water near the entrance of the hive.
Well, after the dogs chase them, they get led into a tunnel. Yeah. And Alice just goes, it's okay. The dogs won't chase us in here. They're afraid. Afraid of what?
Yeah,
there's nothing there.
It's just
and this is the thing that really, really baffles me.
Yeah.
Is that after Wesker turned into the good guy in the last film, or we were led to believe, and now he's the bad guy this time around.
Yeah.
He left the fucking door open.
Yes. Now,
and that's what made me go, is Wesker still actually the good guy and he's hoping that Alice can get in here and stop them? Or is he just that fucking incompetent that he chooses now to close the door?
Yeah. They've got to get in there before this great big fucking door, crushes them all. But Christian, who you were kind of led to believe might be the traitor, because we've been told that there's a traitor in the group of survivors, like it makes any fucking difference.
How does the Red Queen know one of them is a traitor?
Because she's getting the emails.
And so when was this traitor set up? Like before the first outbreak?
Yeah.
How was
yeah,
it?
I don't know. Because Christian gets killed by the dogs, and he comes back as a zombie and almost kills Alice in the door, but she manages to stop him, and so you're like, oh, well, that's 2 people killed off. You know, we've just had 2 people killed off. And then you just watch them all kind of fall in a domino effect. It's so bad.
It's the fan room. That setup.
Oh my god, yeah.
Well, you see all the fans there, and I'm just like, okay, you know, ventilation, whatever.
Yeah, I can go with that. Yeah.
But it's powered off. But
Yeah.
you just know watching it, it's going to come on at some point. It's going to come on at some point.
Mm-hmm.
And then Wesker's, you know, he's watching them. When he watches them all go through. And this girl flips him the bird.
Yeah.
And Wesker's like, turn the fan on. Or actually, reverse the fan's polarity.
Yes.
So that now it sucks instead of blows.
I love the fact now. Before anybody hits their keyboards too fucking hard to say you guys don't understand fans, I understand that something hard and skull like could hit the fan at such a speed that the fan shorts out and stops. Yeah, okay, I totally get that. I theoried it in my head, but it's so fucking stupid that this one girl who is like a no-name character and is all the major thing she's done is told us that she can work a crane and flip the bird to Wesker, flies into the fan, gets diced up, and then the fan turns off.
I didn't know whether, you know, the fans were starting and stopping on a computer automated system or Wesker turned the fan off.
I mean, that's the thing.
Because he's like, well, I can't have Alice die here.
I love the fact that Alice says at this point, she's like, this part of the hive is damaged. The power is erratic. I'm like, how the fuck do you know?
Well, in the first film, Kaplan fried the Red Queen.
Yeah.
Fried the whole system.
Yep.
But Wesker's been back there with the Red Queen since then, and the systems are working again, but not fully.
Yeah.
So after the fan sequence, the characters are going through a tunnel.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, a bunch of people are pulled off through booby traps.
What the fuck is this air vent sequence? I mean,
who set these traps and why
what
there
the
for who?
Yeah. Just like, it's like you see the guy fall through the floor and he's holding on to the ledge. Another no-name character who just happened to want to tag along. He's holding on to the vent and it starts to close, chops off his fingers and drops him into like the biggest fucking hole in the earth ever. Alice gets sucked down another fucking hole and ends up in a room with some bony BOW, which is it's so badly created that they had to actually darken the screen and make flashing lights just to put you off. This creature kills off Razor. So every single person apart from Claire who came along is dead. Oh wait, apart from Doc. But that's okay, we can trust him. Claire's taken off as well and stuck in some saw cage glass thing. And Alice meets up with Doc.
Yeah, and so they meet up. She meets up with Doc at the control room, and it's like, well, you know, access this computer terminal.
Yeah.
And the mother of all fucking plot holes opens up right in front of us as the elevator comes down, and we realise that Umbrella has planted all of its VIP and top personnel in this cryostasis facility, which was underneath the hive.
Yeah.
This is the same hive that the apocalypse started in, where the first outbreak occurred in. And we're also found out earlier in the film that Dr. Isaacs told Umbrella that they are orchestrating this apocalypse to cleanse the earth so that they can take over the world in their image and however they want to. So what about Ashford from the second one? Remember they were going to extract him, but I guess you know he wasn't necessary to be putting in cryo sleep. Who is actually in cryo sleep?
Yeah,
no-name people again.
There are thousands of cryostasis.
But why the fuck would Umbrella decide to start the outbreak in the facility where they are all asleep? Why the fuck would they drop a nuke on the facility above where they are all in cryo sleep. Anything could have gone wrong there. The power could have been taken out.
Yeah.
The virus could have got in there and killed them all while they were asleep.
Yeah.
A tyrant, any creature could have got in there and wreaked havoc.
Yeah. Did Isaacs pay Spence in the first movie to release the virus? Because I thought he was doing it for Alice.
It doesn't
It
make
boggles
sense.
the mind. It really does. Because we are then shown that Isaacs, the main Isaacs, right? He is the head of the half of Umbrella. And he's been in cryo storage. So all the other Isaacs that we've seen in the third movie and the guy driving the fucking tank are clones. But they believe that they're the real ones because, well, it's better that they die fighting for something they believe in.
Well, if they all thought they were the real Dr. Isaac, why did they believe that they were a subordinate to Wesker?
Because now Wesker's a subordinate to Isaacs.
Right, okay, right, fine. So now we have a showdown with Dr. Isaacs, who now has the antivirus in this big vial.
Yeah.
And he's like, yeah, but Alice, don't even try to stop me because I have got predictive combat analysis implanted into my fucking cranium so that whatever you try to do, if you think you're going to grab that fountain pen and kill me, forget it. You think you're going to grab that decanter and kill me, forget it. Yeah, it's not going to let the audience forget it because it's going to keep showing you every single one of these possibilities.
Yeah. It's like 6.
So, if they had that technology, how has he not used it or used it on his clones in order to take Alice out? They don't even need the fucking T-virus if they have that technology.
Yeah.
It just... Oh!
Yeah. Because, big spoiler now, just in case you were planning on watching this film. It turns out that the daughter of Dr. Marcus is actually the original Alice. Alicia Marcus. It's basically Milla Jovovich in makeup. And she's been in cryostasis as well. She owns half of Umbrella. And she had Alice created out of cloning technology so that Alice could prevent all the stuff that Dr. Isaacs was been planning from the first movie or before the first movie. I'm not entirely sure. I'm losing it in my mind now. And so she turns up. And they're all there like, okay, so what are we going to do? And Dr. Isaac's like, well, in about 7 minutes, it's not going to matter. My plan's going to be in fruition and you can't stop me. And Alicia Marcus goes, no, but I can fire Wesker. Wesker, you're fired. And as soon as he's fired, the Red Queen drops a door on him.
Albert Wesker, you're fired.
I mean, I hate Wesker. I've been in from some fucking shit because of Wesker. But even by my standards, that is a bad fucking death sequence for one of the most iconic...
fucking worst! It's the fucking worst! This is an absolute fucking insult to anyone who's watched this series of films and anyone who's played the series of games. In Resident Evil 5, they had to drop that motherfucker in a volcano, drop a rock on him and shoot him with a fucking rocket launcher.
Yeah.
And you're still not sure if that's killed him.
Yeah.
Like, this guy's indestructible. Or he'll mutate and recover. In this film series, we've seen Wesker take a shit ton of bullet fire. We've seen half of his head missing from gunfire. He's exploded in the aircraft.
Oh, no, he parachuted out.
It still fucking exploded, and that helicopter also crashed at one point into a fucking mountain. Yet this now has a door drop on his foot, and Wesker is out for the count. We've seen Wesker fight Alice, Claire, and Chris Redfield, and he kicked all their asses.
Yeah.
Yet he doesn't have the speed or reflexes now to get out of the way of the door, nor does he have the virus within him to actually regenerate and recover. And so he just lays there like a fucking wet turd.
What's even more insulting is that we find out that Doc is a traitor. Oh, I didn't see that happen. And Doc's got a gun pointed at Alice and he clicks it and there's no bullets in it. And you get a quick flash that when Alice quickly met up with him, she'd removed all the bullets from the gun and gave him a gun. You know, that's like a fucking... That's like a machine gun clip. That's like 15, 30 bullets. I don't fucking know. But she had all that time to just go click, 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 click. And he goes, when did you know I was the traitor? She's like, well, you're the only one still alive.
How did you know it was me?
You're still alive.
That's her fucking line! You're the only one still alive, so you're the traitor. I'm like, Claire's still alive? Why don't you shoot her? Oh, because that's Claire. No, I can't shoot Claire. No, Claire's my friend. But I'll shoot this asshole. And
Well, she doesn't. She leaves him for Claire
Oh,
to
yeah,
finish
yeah.
off.
Claire fucking blows.
Well, you did something, Claire.
Yeah,
I'm glad
yeah.
you're in this film.
Good work there, Claire. And it just becomes stupid because Claire and Alice then chase after Isaacs and they start having a fight.
In the laser corridor room.
Oh god! Then it literally looks like they took that set out of storage. Like it's been saving it and it just got covered in mold. And he's just tucking it out. And
Claire is knocked out on the elevator.
Yeah.
And the thing that annoys me is that Alice is like, yeah, I defeated you like here once before. And I'm like, well, actually, it was your clone.
Yeah, your
that
clone.
defeated his clone.
Yeah.
It also doesn't make sense that Alicia Marcus and Dr. Isaacs, who have just both come out of cryosleep, are instantly aware of all of the events that Alice has been up to, even though the film's not really sure what Alice has been up to in all these other films, or its own company, for that matter, because it's been run by clones ever since.
Yeah,
and so Alice is bested by Isaacs because he has this predictive combat technology. And so he holds her hand up and we see her fingers get taken off by the laser.
Oh.
And you're like, oh shit, Alice has been seriously injured.
Yeah.
But it was her plan the whole time because whilst he was trying to take her hand off, she dropped a grenade in his pocket. And Dr. Isaacs is carrying the only one vial of the antivirus that if it was to be damaged here would be useless and this whole film's premise destroyed.
Oh, I love the fact that he does say that. He says, oh yeah, if you release it in here, this is a sealed facility. I'm like, bullshit, it's a fucking sealed facility. There's more fucking entrances into this place than fucking the Crystal Maze.
So the grenade goes off and she takes the vial, which is not damaged at all.
Yeah.
And she goes and takes the elevator to the surface. And we see Dr. Isaacs is rebooting.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's not a computer. He's not a fucking android.
Yeah.
How is he... What's rebooting?
Yeah. What's bringing him back to life? But, oh, it must be the T-virus. It's the T-virus, don't forget.
So Alice makes it to the surface and goes to drop the vial. And it's caught by Dr. fucking Isaacs.
Yeah.
We just saw this horrible green screen effect of Alice going up the elevator. How did Isaacs reboot and get up there to catch the vial?
No, because you forget, it's the clone. The clone that managed to escape from the attack at the tower, managed to flag down another tank, get on board there, kill everybody on board for God knows what reason. You know, he'd already convinced them to go back to go to the hive anyway, but because he's mad, he's killed all these people, driven the tank to the crater, being followed by all these zombies, jumped out, and then managed to run from the tank to the entrance to the hive, which Alice is going to come out from, with this horde of zombies behind him. Sorry, my mistake. Clones are all over the place. It was the clone from the inside the hive that caught the virus. But the other clones turned up, doesn't like that he's a clone, and decides to stab the original Marcus.
And the zombie horde that he was trailing turns up and kills him too.
Oh my god, I lost track.
Alice gets the vial back and then drops it. And it has an immediate effect on anything in her vicinity.
Yeah.
And the zombies all collapse.
I love that symbology though. I've been following that symbology since the very first movie. That if you see this, as soon as the antivirus hits the floor, all the zombies die in front of her. That is the symbology to show that anything that comes near Alice dies.
Well, isn't Alice supposed to die here now? This is supposed to remove the T-virus from any organic material that it's infected. And Alice hits the ground.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow, okay, she sacrificed herself. Great.
Yeah.
It has some value now, this film, that it ended her story. Why the fuck is she still alive?
Why am I still alive?
I don't know.
Because
How is she still alive?
I hate this bit as well, because she came past and saw Claire in that little room, and Claire's like, go, get out of here. And I'm like, oh shit, is Claire going to die? Because she looks pretty injured.
Well, there was a fucking huge explosion down in the hive.
Yeah.
Where...
And Claire managed to get out just in time, maybe using the same elevator that Isaac, maybe they went up together, like, where are you going? Oh, I'm going up here. I'm going up there too. But yeah, Claire's like, you did it. You saved us, Alice. Well, she hasn't, because we're told at the end of the movie that when the original T-virus got out, it went through planes and this, that, and the next thing, and that's why it spread the word like wildfire. This antivirus is going to take months, years possibly, to reach the four corners of the world and wipe out the virus.
But she only had 48 hours to save everyone.
Yeah.
And so now it's going to take months to save her. There's no one left to save then by this film's definition.
It's the way that she rides off on the bike being chased by those winged creatures, and she's smiling, and I'm like, what the fuck are you smiling about? You haven't got your powers anymore. You're weak as fuck.
Now, that's not the only grievous insult to the character, if you can call it a character,
right,
at this point.
Yeah.
Is that at the end of the film she was supposed to die, and it would have been a great sacrifice if she did. But Anderson thought it would be a great idea to have her left alive, even though they know and have said publicly this is the final chapter, the last Resident Evil film in this chronological series.
Yeah.
So killing her off would be fine. But he's like, no, we'll keep her alive, and we'll give her a reward for everything that she's been through. And it's explained to us that Alicia Marcus downloaded her memories. Where is this technology coming from, by the way? Downloads her memories of her childhood because Alice doesn't remember hers.
No.
Because she was a clone. But I'm just like, but like a few movies ago, Alice said she remembers everything. It's like, she's got the memory of a goldfish. I don't know. And so her reward is to have her memories implanted into her.
Yeah.
What sort of fucking joke is that? Like, could you just imagine? Like, Alice is all smiling, like, I get memories that are all my own.
Yeah,
like, they're not. They're from some other woman who lived a completely different life to you.
I get to remember my father was murdered. I get to remember all the people that have died around me as I've travelled the world. I get to remember all the cool things I've done just to keep myself alive. It's so fucking stupid. I'm so glad you watched this movie. I can.
Why?
Because I couldn't believe it myself when I first fucking watched it, and I couldn't tell you. It's
like one of the worst things you've ever said to me.
I watched this movie and I'm like, oh my fucking god! I need to tell people how bad this fucking film is, and nobody'd seen it, and I'm like, I can't just spoil it for you because people wouldn't believe me when I tell them this stuff. We've just voiced it out onto camera and you still can't believe you sat through it.
I still can't believe I saw the film because the minute that it ended and the credits were going up, my brain was just like, what did you just see?
Yeah.
What just happened to you? Because if I was in the cinema, I would have gladly walked out. But I knew that I had to watch this film to be able to talk about it.
Yeah.
But I think I had an outer body experience and my mind just left the body because it couldn't be subjected to this film any longer. That I had to go back and re-watch clips to go, that is what they said.
Yeah.
That is what happened.
That's what
But
happened.
the moment I finished watching it, my brain immediately shattered out and went, do not hold on to this information because it's going to give you a headache.
I know people who stopped this movie 40 minutes in. Now, those people said that they're not fans of the Resident Evil series, and I'm like, well, why the fuck did you sit down and watch it for 40 minutes in the first place? They should have stayed all the way to the end, because at least they'd have had a fighting chance to go, what the fuck, Ian? And I'd be like, yeah, exactly. Yeah. I don't mean any, pain to anybody who is a fan of this franchise or likes watching these movies or likes the character of Alice and all those kind of stuff. But seriously, even those people need to fucking justify what the fuck this movie was doing. From the first opening sequence with the background of Marcus to Alice climbing out the hole and the write-off of all the characters from the other movies, to the fucking unbelievable situation she gets herself into, and then the unbelievable way she fucking gets herself out of them. I honestly believe. Now, Paul W.S. Anderson and Milla Jovovich are married and have children.
Well, yeah, it was their daughter that plays the Red Queen in this film.
Oh, God, even worse. I know it's a beautiful thing, family. But seriously, while she was fucking him, was she giving him ideas like, you know what'd be really good? Is if I get all my memories at the end of the film. Yeah, yes, that's totally the way. Sorry, that's a little bit too much.
No fucking favourite scenes in this film. None of it is memorable, and I can't wait for my brain to completely expunge this film's existence from my mind.
I've got 2 favourite sequences. My first is Alice finding the Red Queen at the beginning with the fax machine, and the Red Queen saying, "Look out behind you!" And Alice turns around and decapitates a zombie with a keyboard. I thought that was cool. It was good effect. It was all right.
I can't even remember.
Yeah, it was so quick, man. And my favourite other part is where Alice is telling the survivors while they're walking just before the Cerberus attacks, and says, "This is what I do. This is what I do. I walk around and get people killed. People go with me to places and they die, or generally just completely disappear, and I forget them completely." Gary, do you recommend this movie?
Fuck no!
Help me.
You don't need help, Wesker. You're dying. Just get on with it.
No, I do not recommend this film. This film has tainted an otherwise guilty pleasure franchise. You know, you could take any one of the other films in the franchise and watch them on a given day and breeze past an hour and 20 minutes and be like, whatever, it was forgettable. But there was a couple of cool moments.
Yeah.
This film doesn't have any of that. This film, in fact, shits on those other films. It removes... Having now watched this film, I can't ever even imagine watching any of the films in this Paul Anderson franchise, because all of the contradictions and plot holes in this film taints everything that's come before it.
Yeah.
So that when if I would decide to rewatch the first film or the third film in the series, which were the only 2 which I thought had any merit worth praising, in the avalanche of the shitstorm that it was, I can't do that now after this one, because, you know, if you watch those other films, it all leads to this one, which shits on everything. So by this film's definition, I retract my statement of going and watching any of the films and say don't, because it all leads to fucking nothing. So no, absolutely not. No acting in this film. The cinematography is atrocious. It's shaky handycam that's too zoomed into any of the visuals to see what's going on. The special effects are hidden under nighttime. Character motivation is absolutely forgettable. Characters from the previous film entries are just here just to be killed off. The pacing, the plot, the editing, the lighting, the music, the characters, the editing, the direction is just all awful. I wouldn't inflict this film upon anyone. And if you are someone who can still enjoy this film, you must at least acknowledge to yourself that this film is atrocious and you should demand better. You really should. I can only say at this point that if you're a fan of the games, go and watch Resident Evil Degeneration.
Yeah.
Watch Resident Evil Regeneration, or go and watch Resident Evil Vendetta. All of those films are at least canon to the game franchise, have characters from those games, even though their image changes.
Yeah.
At least it has the same voice actors, the same premise, interesting monsters, and it's all at least tonally fits. Whereas the Resident Evil Paul Anderson franchise does not. And at this point, I will also say that Capcom and Sony Pictures are in the process of rebooting the live-action Resident Evil franchise. And so, You know, I hate calling for remakes and reboots, but if anything needed it, it was this one.
This.
And I can only hope that maybe, just maybe next time, we'll get Jill and Chris and Wesker and Barry in a mansion with zombies and a scientific facility attached to it. And maybe that'll take us into Leon and Claire's story in Resident Evil 2. Just maybe they'll do it right. But I dare hope.
I can only honestly recommend this film and the entire franchise as a fucking brainless action series. I literally have watched all 6 Resident Evil movies one after the other, and there's just nothing. There's just nothing in it. It's just mindless action. You know, say what you want about the Transformer movies. Big fucking robots. I like big fucking robots. I cannot stand Alice.
I think I'd rather watch the Underworld series through again.
Yeah, so would I. Fucking anything. I mean, better movies than the Resident Evil series. Zombie-based. Wreck. The whole fucking Wreck series is better than Resident Evil series. World War Z and Dead Rising, both Dead Rising movies, are still shitter than the Resident Evil movies. But Final Chapter is like the fucking low point. Like, really fucking low. And like Gary said, you've got to go through 5 fucking movies to get there. Just end it. Just, if you're a fan of the series, just stop at Retribution. Just have a dream about Wesker and Alice. Don't watch the Final Chapter. Just don't. Because everything you've been following, everything that's been building up, it's just not there. None of it. It's Paul W.S. Anderson and Milla Jovovich's wet dream rubbing together about what they think you want to see. They have no fucking clue. I didn't like the first movie, but I will watch it. If somebody said, you have to watch a Resident Evil movie, I'll take anything over the Final Chapter. Fucking anything. Even Apocalypse, and Apocalypse is shit. Even Extinction, and I don't like Extinction. Even Afterlife, and that's fucking stupid. Even Retribution, and Retribution is just fucking... Just don't, okay? I'm telling you. And if you do, it's your own fucking fault. Don't blame me.
Thanks for watching Off the Shelf Reviews.
Because when the dead rise, they rise together. Told you we're never dead forever. They just wanna eat your brains. This umbrella's got nothing to do with rain. Now that they're dead, it's such a pity. What will happen to Raccoon City? We can put a stop to this umbrella. We can overthrow this umbrella. Ella, Ella, eh.